wanted Paul to bring up just a little bit about the Oklahoma incident, because I'm telling you, we've worked with Oklahoma very closely, as you know, and that's our sister state, and we copy a lot of legislation. Now, keep in mind, everyone, we're going into a legislative phase here, and we're getting ready to get into a property issue. Secure Arkansas is about more than one issue here. I mean, we're working on this immigration, but basically we've taken on 3 of Obama's top 3 issues. That's amnesty, which has to do with illegal immigration, health care via the lawsuit, and cap and trade. So we're going to be taking on all these issues, and our we're in the process of writing legislation right now, and we will reintroduce. We've already got a representative that's going to carry that again for us that failed the last time at the Capitol, but it's a 10th Amendment, and that's states' rights. But I do think it's very important that you listen to what Paul has to say on this initiative process, because that is the #1 tool of the people. And what he says, if this is work, this is real grassroots effort. This is the first time this has been done in this state without big corporate money and any DC money. And what's the beauty of all of this is it totally bypasses all of this. The special interest group that says this is what you're going to do, and we the people say, no, this is what we're going to do. So this is a special time, but his experiences has definitely spurred me on, because we have to have a little bit of courage here when we face off with some of these big politicians and elected officials. Well, now, yeah, and Missouri lost 2 months off of their gathering time. If I'm not mistaken, California went from, I forgot how long it was a very long time, down to 180 days to gather 750,000 signatures. And this is what he is talking about trying to guard our initiative process here in the state of Arkansas.
Yes, and California originally had an unlimited period. Now it's 150 days, and it creates a situation where the reason for almost every restriction against the initiative process is given to us as we have to stop the special interests. But almost everything they do, like shortening the time period, in Oklahoma, for instance, it's only 90 days. And instead of having to get 8%, they've got to get 15% of the last vote. But all of these restrictions passed by legislators are really designed to make it tougher for grassroots groups to do it. And of course, the big special interests where they want to use the process, and I'm not for stopping, we can all define what a special interest is, but I'm not for some laws that stop someone who has more money from doing an initiative. I just want a fair playing field where the little guy can also do an initiative. Interestingly, on big special interests, one of the interesting things, there was a study a few years ago that looked at spending in initiatives. When the yes side of an initiative outspends the no side 2 to 1 or better, their chances are they will lose. And the more the spending on the yes side outpaces the spending on the no side, the higher likelihood the initiative will lose. Now this seems absurd, because in candidate races, if you have more money, you're likely to win, because you can run 30-second ads gutting your opponent over and over again. In initiative spending, it doesn't have the same impact, because of course people know the underlying issue. It's not an unknown like trying to determine a candidate's honesty or integrity or what have you. So it's interesting, just recently, PG&E, the big utility out in California, spent $40 million against almost no spending on the no side and lost. And of course I had a lot of people complaining about the spending on that side. I said, well, I don't like it either, but they lost. And that's a sign of how strong, when you're dealing with issues, it is. Let me just address the Oklahoma stuff. Sometimes I hesitate in speeches because I can get long-winded about it. But years ago, 2005, I was involved with a national group that was working with groups in various states, reforming eminent domain and trying to put state spending caps in place, somewhat like Colorado has through their TABOR, Taxpayer Bill of Rights initiative. And what that initiative does is to say that government spending can grow year to year by the rate of inflation plus population increase. But if it wants to grow more than that, it has to go to the people and get the people to approve it. Now, of course, what this would mean is that, first of all, when they wanted to spend more money, they would have to justify it. And not justify it to the editorial boards or justify it to each other, but justify it to the people who pay the bills.
Yeah.
That, whether it's the tax increase or spending increase passed or not, I have to think that's a good thing that they would have to come to the people and say, here's what we want to do. We recognize you're the boss, and so we're coming to you instead of dictating to you. This was not popular among the public employee unions in Oklahoma. And frankly, it wasn't very popular among several billionaires in Oklahoma. And I like to say that it sounds like those who favor mommy welfare didn't like it, and those who favor daddy welfare didn't like it. There's a tendency sometimes, I think, politically to look at it that the other folks are trying to get money from government, but you know, our side's good. And I think the problem we have in politics is that both sides are trying to split up the pie for themselves, and the American people are constantly wondering, well, wait a second, I don't seem to have either side that's on my side.